Alright, so hello and welcome to this video. So this time I'm finally doing my little United States of America video series where I'll talk about my holiday that I took in the United States of America last year. And I'll probably divide it into 3 videos. So the first video is going to cover Washington and some of Colorado. The second video is going to cover Colorado and Las Vegas. And the third video is probably going to be about the national parks in the states that I visited. Well, and before we start, I just want to mention one thing that I found really cool, and that's arriving in America, and then on the first day of actually being there, going into one of those Walmart supermarkets, and just seeing how big everything is, or in general, coming to the United States expecting that, yeah, everyone's just exaggerating with saying, oh, everything is big in the United States, but then you actually come there to the United States and you see that it's not been a lie, it's all true. The United States are absolutely huge, and if you ever plan to go to the United States, I want you to keep that in mind, that the United States is gonna be bigger than anything you've ever seen before. The food is gonna be bigger, the houses are bigger, the distances between two houses are way bigger. In many of the suburbs you don't really have any, well, sidewalks, or in some villages, in most villages that I've been to at least, there weren't really any sidewalks, because I mean, everyone's just using their car, and it doesn't really make sense to walk from one house to the second house, because they are already so freaking far apart. And I also now understand why it doesn't really make sense to have public transport in those areas. So if you visit the States, you should probably just rent a car to really enjoy the States. But anyways, now let's get into the video and I'll talk a bit more about my holiday there. And well, you can already see me taking that ship. It's because I didn't really rent a place in Seattle itself, but more outside of Seattle. And I basically had to commute to Seattle and back every day. But it was fun because taking the ferry didn't cost that much, and you could, I don't know, just see the beautiful sea there. It's marvelous, a marvelous sight in my opinion, and I always really enjoyed it. But anyways, on my first day that I was actually in Seattle, I visited the Space Needle, probably the most iconic site in Seattle. It was built 1962 for the World's Fair and is some kind of observation tower. And what is really special about it, you've also got a floor that's rotating and a pretty nice view from up there, though I was kind of unfortunate that the weather was not that great and you couldn't really see Mount Rainier. Actually, you couldn't see Mount Rainier at all, and Mount Rainier is like that super special mountain in Seattle, which would have been really nice if I were able to see it, but I was only able to see it when I actually went to Mount Rainier. More about that in my national parks video, and when I took the plane to Denver, to my next destination. What I also did that same day was just walking around the city a little bit and filming whatever came across my mind, but I won't include all the clips in this video, of course. And on another day I went to go hiking. So what I did is I met up with a hiking group that I found on Meetup, and we went hiking on Mount Ellinor in the Olympics, and it was definitely a beautiful hike, but it was not really great weather. You couldn't really see the views that you'd have if it was like good weather, and so we ended up just going up that mountain and hiking. And also we didn't really expect rain because the weather forecast said that it would be sunny, and then we had snow on Mount Ellinor and also rain and hail. It was rather uncomfortable, but we just kept hiking, though I didn't actually go to the top of the mountain because that seemed to me, with that weather, too dangerous. But it was still a nice hike, though the bad thing is I probably got sick on that hike. and more about that when I reach Denver, because that's when I actually got sick. Well, and on another day I went through town again, and I came across that interesting building that looked like some kind of church. And as it turns out, it actually was a church once. I think it was a Methodist church once. And I was also allowed to go in, because now it's owned by a hotel. And the staff told me that I could have a look around, and that's what I did. I also took the elevator to the 14th floor and had a beautiful full view from there, which I don't know. It definitely felt special. Like, it is more like upper class hotel, I suppose, and I definitely like to stay a night or two at that hotel sometime in the future. But during that trip I didn't really have the money to do that. But it was still nice having a look around and seeing how beautiful everything is there. What I also did and really wanted to do is going to the Amazon headquarters, because, it just looks awesome. As you can also see in that one picture that I've got, and in the one very short video clip. Unfortunately, some security stuff told me that you can't really, or that you're not allowed to film there, so I couldn't film really anything except that one shot that I took from the street. But it definitely looked magnificent. I mean, in general, all the buildings there in Seattle got something special. I mean, skyscrapers in general have got this special beauty that you just don't really find anywhere else. You see, I also gotta go to New York City someday. And what is also kind of special in Seattle, or a nice site, somewhere you should visit if you ever decide to visit Seattle, in my opinion, is the Skyview Observatory, which is a very high building, very tall building, and you can go up there to the, I think it was 84th floor, and have a look around, a 360 degrees panorama view. And the view from up there is actually better than the view that you've got from the Space Needle, and it's also a little bit cheaper if I'm not mistaken. But you've not got the rotating floor, of course, which is regrettable. And off we go to Denver, where I was sick for like 5 days, which was also kind of regrettable. It was probably, as I already said, because of that hike, and it seems like I caught a cold there, which is very unfortunate, because I was literally staying in bed for like 3, 4, 5 days and couldn't do anything. Also, I couldn't do as I actually planned to do, just go hiking somewhere in the Rocky Mountains that are like right next to Denver, because I got sick and I was still weak that entire week. Week and week. Is there even a difference in pronunciation? I don't think so. And one little thing about Denver that I still want to talk about is that the home that I stayed at for the first few nights when I was sick, it was not that nice. I also changed that accommodation after a few days, because I didn't feel comfortable at all there. The reason for that being, well, one of the reasons for it was that, like, the host's girlfriend got arrested by the police on the first day for being drunk, and she screamed all the time during that. It was quite annoying. But anyways, let's move on to the nicer things of Denver, because I didn't only, well, I was not only sick, I was not only changing accommodations or whatever, but I was also doing some exciting stuff. For instance, I visited the Colorado State Capitol, which was to me kind of special. I always like being in the center, in the heart of democracy, and, well, that's what the Parliament pretty much is. Though, to be honest, I've never been in the German Parliament yet, never been to the German Bundestag, but at least to the Colorado State Capitol already. And the Colorado State Capitol is, for me, it looks nicer than the German Bundestag, because they got this beautiful golden dome on it, which looks great. And you can even go up there when taking part at a guided tour, and the guided tour is also free, which was also really cool. And you'll go up there and stay up there for like 15 minutes and have a beautiful view to the Rocky Mountains. Unfortunately, you're not allowed to stay any longer because the entire group will have to go down again, but it was still really nice being there. And on the same day, I got to be a witness to the American openness and friendliness, because I decided to join another like meeting on this meetup app, which was organized by the Swiss club, the Denver Swiss club or something like that. And it was just really nice meeting those people there. They were very open, super friendly, and had some nice stuff to eat at that restaurant that we stayed at. And they also recommended me to do some things in Denver or in the area of Denver. And I, well, probably took 3 of their recommendations, which was great. So the first thing that I did is going to some kind of parade the next day. The footage, you can already see it in the background. It was a really huge parade, probably the biggest parade that I've ever been to. Well, and that parade celebrated some kind of win of the Avalanche ice hockey team in Denver. And it was just cool being a witness of that and seeing such a huge parade. And what I got to do after the parade with someone that I met at the Swiss club, that you'll see in the next video. So I hope to see you next time in the video that will cover the rest of Colorado and Las Vegas. See you next time.